I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you a Monday reads again because it's actually Monday today, so it's time for me to actually wrap up the week that has passed. And because I have this week off because of Easter break coming up, I decided to film it today when I had time. Last week I ended up finishing 2 books, so it's not like my best reading week ever, but I did end up finishing 2 books and I made a lot of progress on 4 other books. So let's talk a little bit about the books that I finished first. The first one I finished was Of Spice and Men by Sarah Fox. This is the 3rd book in the Pancake House mystery. In this one we are following a mystery surrounding an actress that has been murdered. There's a film crew in the town, and our main character is going to visit said actress and finds her dead. And so it starts from there. Then there is our main character has a relationship with one of the town's people, and his ex-girlfriend comes into town and she is immediately a suspect. So there's also a little bit of that. Overall, I didn't enjoy the mystery as much, and I didn't enjoy the things that were going on as much as I have been doing previously. It was a little bit of a letdown, but not so much that I didn't like listening to it and I was entertained well enough. It just wasn't as good as the previous 2, so I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. The next thing that I finished was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I finally read this book. It's been so popular amongst everyone on BookTube actually. It is one of those very hyped romance books out there, and it follows this woman who is suffering from chronic pains, and she is a plus size as well as being black. And then we have our main male character who is white, and he is sort of a neighbor person to her, and they start she's sort of been spying on him a little bit recently. And Chloe, she has this list of things that to get a life kind of thing. So she has this list of things that she wants to do in order to sort of feel like she has more of a life going for her, because because of the pain that she's been through over the last many years. There's a lot of things that she feels like she hasn't been able to do, but now she wants to actually get back and get a life again, and stuff like that. So he comes onto this journey with her and actually helps her out with some of the different things that happens, and as time goes they become more and more fond of each other, and it's really a cute romance. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a lot high on the Steam factor. I knew this going in because I've seen multiple reviews of people saying that they were surprised at how steamy it was. So I knew what I was going into. It was also nice that for once I've read a lot of contemporary romances lately that has been set in the US, and it was nice to have a different setting. In this one we are following Talia Hibbert is a British author, so this was set in Britain, and that was a refreshing setting in the romance genre, so I really appreciated that. Overall, it wasn't my favorite romance ever, it wasn't my favorite book ever, but I really enjoyed it, so I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And I definitely intend on reading on with her Talia Hibbert's books, because yeah, it was just a lot of fun listening to this. And it was also nice getting this perspective of in a book like this from a main character. It's not something that I've read super much from, so that was definitely nice. I think it's own voices, I'm not sure. So those are the 2 books that I actually finished last week. Let's talk about the books that I've been working on. The first one that I have made a lot of progress on is A Hope Divided by Alyssa Cole. It's her name. This is the 2nd book in the Loyal League series, and this one we're following this girl called Malone and this man called Ewan McCain. Malone has for a long time been living with the Lynchwoods, who are sort of wealthy people. They take her in and actually see her as their equal, and she gets to sort of try and translate this journal. She's trying to translate this journal that was her mother's. It's written in French, and she's not really good in French, so she is trying to get it translated, but that's where actually also Ewan comes in, because Ewan is escaped prisoner, and he ends up being she takes him in and hides him away, and he's actually able to help her translate it. So there's how the connection comes in. But as time goes, some awful people comes into this Lynchwood house, and it ends up with Malone actually having to flee from everything. At the point that right now I have actually finished it, so I'll talk a little bit more about it in my next read. In next week, because it's obviously Monday, but I just finished it today, so I can't really talk about it fully today. But I'm enjoying it, and will let you know my final thoughts in the next one. Another one that I've been working on is Kiss of the Night by Sherilyn Kenyon. I have read 3 chapters over the past week. That was actually my goal, so I'm really happy about that. I have about 150 pages of it left. 182 pages of the book is left. I'm really enjoying this a lot more. I'm about just over 50% into the book, and I am enjoying this one a lot more than I have with the previous novels. I think it's because the characters, I really enjoy them together and also separately, and I like a lot of the side characters. I think they're very interesting. So I'm very interested in picking up the book again, and that's not always been the case with these books, but I am really enjoying this one. So very happy about that. Another book that I've been working on is De Halves Arv, or The Legacy of the Half, if I'm to translate it. This is the first book in a series called Grænsen til Trefallas, or The Borders of Trefallas, which is the world that this is set in. And I am, as you can tell, a little over halfway. I am 4 hours into a 7-hour long audio, so that's where I am. This has not been as good as I thought it was going to be so far. It's not that it's bad or anything, it's just I think I had very high expectations. The audio narrator is terrible. That may also have something to do with me not enjoying it as much as I thought I would, because she has a weird way of pronouncing things. It's not that you can definitely tell she's Danish full through and through. That's not what I'm thinking, but I think she's trying too much. I don't know. It's as if she's trying to add an accent without having an accent, and it's just I can't really explain it. It's just really bad. Yeah, I can't really. It might be that it's just me, but I don't really like it. But I'm 337 pages into this one, so I have 250 pages left. I expect I will finish that over the next week. So that is my aim. And the last and final thing that I've also worked on, and I'm actually halfway through, is A Secret Cross Seduction by JC Lee. This was a book that was picked for me in random picks. You'll see that in my vlog soon. I picked it up after I finished Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and listened to half of it. It's very short audio. I think it's only 3.5 hours or 3 hours, and yeah, so it's definitely very short. But the book itself is also short. It's just over 200 pages, so it is a very short book. But this one follows like the younger sister of our main character in the first book, and she's sort of looked at as this rebel and not good. She feel like she's not seen as being good enough to be part of the Hansel company in the future, but she decides to try and make them believe that she can be part of it by hosting this charity event for autistic people, and on the way there she has to get some help from someone. And our main character in the first book, our main male character in the first book, his best friend is this guy, and he has sort of been coming to the Hansel house for years and years, almost being part of the family in a way. But they both have secret feelings towards each other, but for his perspective it's just been later on, because he's a little bit older, but he is from this marketing firm, and they sort of help each other out with this event. So that's where we're at, and they are sort of secretly dating, because no one's supposed to know about it, because they can't be together because they're Korean and he is white American, so she doesn't think that they can be compatible, and then she would definitely not be seen as worthy of this company, kind of thing. That's sort of the gist of I get from it. I am enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I think it will solve itself because it is a Harlequin romance. We'll see them end up together, there's no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, and I definitely think that I'll finish this over the next week. So those are 2 audiobooks that I'll work on next week. I also got to pick out my next physical book because I finished Hope Divided. I think I might also be able to get into another book, but I don't know which one, and so we'll see when I end up finishing it, but I also don't want to put too much pressure on myself. So the one that was picked for me is Castle in the Air by Hannah Wynne Jones. I'm really happy I'm finally going to get to this one because I've had it on my TBR multiple times over last year. I just never got around to it because it was just not picked up because I had to read something else first. So I'm really happy that it's finally been picked for me, and it's only 280 something pages, so I could definitely read it quite quickly, especially considering I have the days off. I would have time to read on some of the days, but I don't know how much I'm going to do on other days when I have, I know Wednesday I'm going to be away all day. Thursday I will probably not have time to read either, and Friday probably not either, maybe a little bit in the morning. So we'll see what ends up happening with all of this, but I know today and tomorrow I can probably read quite a bit, so we'll see how far I get into it. In total, this means that I'll be having to read 817 pages over the next week, which equals to about 117 pages per day, so that's definitely not a lot considering last week's goal, which was over 200, I think. Last week's goals was 1,397 pages with 200 pages per day. My average ended up being 1,189 with an average of 170 pages per day. So it's still pretty okay. But yeah, if I finish all of these, I will have finished 5 books by the end of next week, which is great considering how I've been doing over the year. So those are my plans for this next coming week. Let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading recently. Are there any good books that you're reading right now? What did you have you read the books that I've been talking about today? And if you did, what did you think of them? Yeah, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.